All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course. Unpause and repause. I have to do that every single time. Yes, indeed, it is time for the news. Styx is here. I'm going to do something to all of you. I'm tipping you the black spot. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Oh, I didn't docket the news. Of course, I would forget something. I had technical difficulties pretty much all morning. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I had to turn the screen off and then back on for that to work, and had other problems as well. So I don't know what the hell is going on. Then my phone has a few problems as well at the moment. That has to be fixed. I've talked about that before. So I'll just docket this news while people filter in. We got some really wacky news today, trust me. Especially the Taylor Lorenz story. Jesus. When you're lusting after Luigi Mangione. Yeah, there might be a little bit of a problem with you, just saying. I don't think it should be banned or outlawed or anything like that. It's more like, be aware that this chick is nuts. Baron Von Blair, morning Styx, lovelies clank. That's what I'm talking about. We've got all sorts of weird references already over in Rumble. Austin Aiken, the energy has been so awful increasingly over the last few weeks. I'm drained doing nothing. Yeah, I'm a little bit demotivated myself at the moment. But what I am going to be doing is doing seedling planting probably tomorrow, so I'm happy about that. I do have to go to New Orleans, but I figure as long as they get watered, as long as I mix the stratum properly, they should be pretty much fine. I know my niece wants to plant watermelons. I want to plant tomatoes mainly, more than anything else. I love cherry tomatoes. Oh, when they're sun warmed, they're so perfect. You know what I mean. Robo Guy, I'm convinced Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are failures. They won't release the Epstein list. They won't arrest corrupt politicians, etc. They need to resign and be replaced with someone who will get things done. You can't expect perfection from any administration. It doesn't matter how effective it is. I'm willing to deal with a handful of cases of people who may be dragging their heels on the job. Also, I would point out again, and I have pointed it out many times, the Epstein list is never going to be released. Because if you knew how many people went to Epstein Island, you would flinch, number one. And number two, there are ongoing investigations into many of these individuals, which have spanned for years. Sometimes it does take years to investigate these things. And if you release their name to the public, then they can go to their lawyer and say, hey, I was publicly name-dropped in the document release. This is a form of defense. I am being defamed. The government is clearly attacking me. And so then they skate. So they're guilty, but, they get to claim that they're not guilty. Anton is here. I think I had Red Bull in that to begin with. Ugh. Alrighty. I think I just accidentally mixed Red Bull with water. I'm not 100% sure what I did there. Whatever. Yeah, as far as the Epstein list, you're never going to get it. It's just not going to happen. It's unrealistic to believe that it can happen for legal reasons. If you want to go after people, you have to do it in a legal capacity. And if you publicly name and shame them, while that's good for the public, it's not good for your legal case. So my hope is that they're going after these people behind closed doors, so to speak, and that they'll get theirs. Probably not anyway, because they're all rich bitches, but, at least we've got a hope. If they come out publicly and they name these people, if they actually gave you the full clientele list. The problem is it would screw up so many legal cases. It would be an impossible morass of bullshit, basically. Andrew Klein, you start talking shit about Jews. I don't hate Jews. I know that some people want me to, but I don't. There are certain Jewish people that are corrupt. That's the case with pretty much everyone in the world. It's when you start mixing oil with water is what you need to look out for, Sticks. The blue smoke gives it away. Alright. Wait, YouTube cut my stream? It seems that there are people still there. I've had continuous technical issues today. It's just one of those days. Garrick Mobius, Sticks, in response to your vid about the woke right, I've been keeping my ear towards James Lindsay, who, as far as I'm aware, coined the term referring to a sudden identitarian and other such. This is one out of two of the comments. What do fuck? How does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells. And all my carrots in a row. Jesus H. Christ. Haha, Anaho Dave. Sticks having tech issues. Must be a day that ends in Y. Yeah, exactly. Element. It kicked me to my next video, but I went right back to yours. Oh, well, I guess YouTube does fucking hate me. It's not a huge surprise. Happens all the time. Drink V8. Please, everyone. If you want to please me, that's all you have to do. Anyways, we're gonna get to the news here. Cory Booker insists there's enough smoke to investigate Trump on insider trading with tariff reversal. Democratic senators have accused Trump of insider trading and market manipulation after announcing pause on tariffs. There's no hypocrisy here whatsoever. Nobody in the Democratic Party is insider trading. Nancy Pelosi just got all of those tens of millions of dollars from thin air. I was looking at this story. And Cory Booker, by the way, he looks perpetually upset. Like he's incapable of having any other emotion but pure anger, basically. He looks persistently angry. And he's complaining about insider trading. Cory, my man, those in glass houses should probably not throw stones. There is a 99% chance that you have insider traded. There is a 100% chance that multiple members of your party have insider traded. You're in Congress, right? And there's a thin bill that's either going to go through or not go through. You set up your stocks before you cast your vote. Anyone would do that. I know that I would. If I had the ability to make millions and millions of dollars, knowing full well what I was doing, and being in Congress, therefore generally legally protected, do you think that I would pass up that opportunity? None of these people do. There are very, very few people in Congress who can resist the urge of doing so. If I can pocket $5 million by dropping a stock trade, either dropping stocks, selling them off, grabbing them up, whatever it happens to be, I'm going to do that. Also, I'm not really harming anyone in the process of doing so. If it was something that would harm other people directly, I wouldn't do it. But if it's something that's not going to harm them, if it's just, grabbing money that the government prints anyway, why the hell would I give a shit? I don't care. Nancy Pelosi does this all the time. Again, those in glass houses, Cory. Those in glass houses. You're part of a party that includes multiple people that do this on the reg. Cory Booker's a moron, basically. Wasted bonehead. Good morning from the grave. Jurek Mobius. Groups that I noticed suddenly appeared last Christmas over that immigration thing. While I have no doubts there is monetary gain, this is meant to split and co-opt MAGA. Agreed, by the way. Nervous about elections. Also agreed. I think that you're right. What do fuck? Clearly, President Trump is guilty of insider trading. When he posted his buy recommendation on Truth Social to all of planet Earth, he ignored the Martians and Klingons. Wasted. If the leftists want to lock criminals up, they might as well lock up the entire government. It's already a criminal organization. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. We're clanking and kecking everything else. And I'm drinking V8. I'm the V8 pirate. Technically, I'm the vampirate, but yes. Fireburn. Sticks. Haven't slept now for 8 days. You must have passed out at some point during the 8 days or you'd be dead. I only got 3 hours of sleep last night. It wasn't necessarily a great time. Oh, my phone's doing that thing again. My phone is definitely having screen issues. I'm going to have to get it repaired. Unfortunately, I only have about a week to do that because I have to go to New Orleans. I'm wondering if there's even time to do so. And if it fucks out when I'm there, I'm screwed. So yeah, if there are any New Orleans clankers out there, if you see me wandering around in my pirate gear, maybe take a little bit of pity on me and help me out. I might need it. Wasted Sticks. A while back I sent you my literary work. I never got any response back. Which works? I may not have actually gotten them. Our mail here is a little bit messed up. I mean, this is Rutland after all. Last beacon, chicken jockey, he says over and over again. I guess you're fucking a chicken. That reminds me of the chicken fucker scene. Rob Zombie has an overdeveloped sense of humor. You inbred? Inbred? What do fuck? Did you see Gretchen Whitmer at the White House demonstrate the Democrats' new cloaking device? Yeah, I saw that. I thought it was very funny. I might talk about it tomorrow, but, I mean, Whitmer is pretty irrelevant at this point, so I don't know. Wasted. Not gonna lie, bringing a chicken to the movie theater is fucking based. Yeah, I know. I guess there are a lot of kids that are going to see the Minecraft movie. A lot of theaters won't even allow them in without their parents or a guardian at this point. Because people are bringing, like, fucking chickens in and pickaxes and weird shit like that. It's actually pretty funny. I told you the kids were alright. Ugh. I don't even know what I put in there. Wasted bonehead. I sent it to your email. Bump it to the top and please email me again, if you will. That tastes like Sprite. Shit. I mean, I put water in it. I didn't realize there was already something in it. Ugh. Just tastes weird. Soap maker. Sticks. Get some trazodone. Not all pharma is bad. I don't really like using pharmaceuticals. Not really a fan. Dr. Decker. No, it's definitely not booze. I think it's Sprite. I had some the other day. I went to Wendy's, actually. Their burgers are actually pretty alright. Their French fries are pretty good, too. Their nuggets are spectacular. Ugh. I forgot that I put Sprite in that. It's watered down Sprite that I'm drinking. How wonderful. Ugh. No lemon curd. I do not like Wendy's chili. A 17-year-old in Wisconsin allegedly killed his parents as part of a plot to assassinate Trump, FBI says. Took him long enough, by the way. Nikita Kassap, 17, called for the assassination of the president and the overthrow of the U.S. government in written documents and text messages found by investigators, according to the federal affidavit obtained by CNN affiliate WICN. The alleged killing of his parents appeared to be an effort to attain the financial means and autonomy to carry out his plan. And he had a 357 and so forth, and considerable amount of money, actually. This is insane. This part's nuts. The Waukesha County Sheriff's Office obtained the search warrant and found material at Kassap's phone related to the Order of Nine Angles, which is a network of individuals holding neo-Nazi, racially motivated extremist views, the federal affidavit says. They also found photos and communications referencing a self-described manifesto regarding assassinating the president, making bombs, and terrorist attacks, it says. A 3-page document the FBI found called for Trump's assassination to create a political revolution in the U.S. and save the white race. Of course, they're blaming it on the 09A. I happen to have their main manifesto. You know that book that I've shown you, Liber 333? That was written by them. It is terroristic material. I don't believe in banning this sort of thing. I mean, I just shrugged it off myself. I was contacted by a number of people who may have glowed in the dark. Let's put it that way. Trying to get me to, make pipe bombs and shit like that. Hey, I can sell you a sword. And I've also got other stuff, Yeah. Be very careful when you interact with other groups. Be very, very careful. That's all I have to say. Be very careful. Last beacon. I believe that eventually, thanks to Trump, derangements and drum people like Gretchen Whitmer are not going to survive in the coming presidential election. Yeah, she'll never be president. Don't worry about that. They will eat each other alive through their Trump derangement syndrome and slowly whittle themselves down until they get someone that pisses off half the Democrat radical base and moderate base. Yeah, that seems to be what they're aiming for. It's almost like they're self-destructive, actually, at sometimes. Jay, I've been unplugged. Are you still good with Jeremy in the quartering? Yes, I still support him wholeheartedly. But he got fucked by Rumble, it seems. I'm still trying to figure out 100% the situation. So I'm not currently his co-host, although I would be willing to do so goddamn for free, honestly, because it's entertaining. As a result, I don't know what he's doing. I think that he's pivoting to making his coffee company more. Which makes sense. I mean, more power to him. His coffee's pretty good. Well, I have my own brand of coffee, and we'll be shouting it out later. And it smells so goddamn good. Jam and bean is great. Well, I have my own food. Alright. Well, I have my own food and coffee and stuff like that. Yeah. Jeremy, primarily, first and foremost, he's got a family. He's got to take care of business. I don't begrudge him at all. I have no problem with it in any way. Last beacon. Shit, I meant to say Trump derangement syndrome in the first one. Yes. Yeah, no, I didn't get fired. It's just that he wishes to pay his co-hosts. If he is not capable of doing so, he will not have a co-host. And in Rumble, I have a feeling I know what's going on. I still like Rumble as a platform. I don't have any problem with it. But let me explain briefly. I think I know what they're doing. They're trying to get a 24/7 lineup in which you have heavy hitters in the main slots. So it's still a video hosting site, but you're predominantly promoting a handful of individuals, maybe a few dozen of them. And so it doesn't matter what slot you're in. You're competing with people that have 10 times your audience. It's going to make it very difficult, therefore, for any other content creator. I know that if I moved to like a 6 p.m. time slot or something like that, I would get more of an audience. But I simply can't do that. I don't have the ability. I have other things that I have to do in the afternoon. It's not possible for me to do. I prefer to do more of a morning show like I'm doing right now. It's not even noon. So therefore, I believe I'm competing with Steven Crowder in this time slot. Well, because there's a significant audience overlap, I know that a lot of the people that like me also like Crowder. I'm competing with him effectively. Now, I'm not trying to rob his audience or anything like that. I just want my own audience. But that's the fact. That's the way that it works. And Rumble, the way that they have. Oh, dang, you have your own subreddit, Sticks. I think that's been there since like 2010 or something like that. Dr. Decker. I like Crowder. His thing when he crashed that it was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. You remember that one where he crashed that panel where Cenk Uygur was there and he sort of dressed like him and sort of looked a little bit similar? I think he had to pad himself out in order to be fatter or something like that. That was hilarious. Last weekend, I am so tired of the glowies. Yes, give me a moment, and I want to show you that book again for a reason, because it's literally mentioned in the news article. Apparently, somebody radicalized by this particular group decided to try to kill Donald Trump in order to start a revolution. Give me a couple of minutes, and I will be right back. I promise. I will show you the book again. Just a sec. Because I got it gratis. That person who offered to sell me a longsword, actually, at one point. Yeah, indeed. There are actually people that glow in the dark in the world. They do actually exist. It is not a conspiracy theory. Be right back. All right, everyone, I promised that I would show it to you again. Yes, the Temple of Blood, the O9A. It is, very, very strange work in many ways. It is terrorist literature. It's perfectly legal to own it, don't worry about that. And I'm not intending to assassinate Donald Trump because I fucking voted for him. But, yeah, it's a little bit on the strange side. Just saying. Yeah, it glows in the dark. It absolutely glows in the dark. Wasted Bonehead. I honestly don't like Rumble's new strategy. It suffocates smaller creators, and it'll ultimately disincentivize new creators from joining up. Agreed. Fireburn, Sticks, what people glow in the dark? What are you talking about? The irony is that the person that contacted me claims that his name was Anton. It has nothing to do with the Biltong sales, by the way. This is many years ago. And he sent me a copy of this particular book. And effectively, it's a long terroristic polemic. It's sort of, oh, well, that's unfortunate. I'm not going to waste the V8. It sort of combines Hindu mythology and pseudo-Christian mythology, or rather anti-pseudo-Christian mythology, with certain civic principles. And so it's a nationalistic system. It's sort of basically like literal Nazis, like as close as you can possibly get to actual Nazis in the modern world. And this dude approaches me, and he was like, hey, you want to buy a sword? And stuff like that. And I got the creepy vibe. And so I accepted the book. But then I was like, okay, there's something terribly wrong with the situation. This random ass dude, who won't show his face, by the way, is trying to sell me swords and shit like that. If I buy this, is he going to try to sell me pipe bombs or something like that? I have a feeling the answer is yes, by the way. Last beacon, the stock market is dropping. Yes, it will for some time. It's correcting. This was entirely predictable. Wasted. You will never walk alone. You can always reach me. You will never ever walk alone. Even when you're dead and gone, you can always reach me. All you've got to do is call. Fireburn. Where did you meet him? Online. On Facebook, actually, back in the day. Back when Facebook was actually useful. It's been a while. Victor Elstad, you should try Remeron for sleep. I've taken it every night for 25 years. Side effects vivid and lucid dreams. I tried some passion flower extract, actually, back in the day. It does work, but the dreams are too vivid for me, if that makes sense. Oh, shit. Never waste the V8. John Lincoln, Sticks, who was the would-be Trump assassin? We will go back to the story. I believe his name is Kaysen, if I remember correctly. Nikita Kasap, yes. Of Wisconsin. Which means he's a contemporary of the Quartering, ironically enough. Sigil, new Ghost song dropped the other day. I've listened to it like a dozen fucking times, by the way. Haven't listened yet. It is exquisite. Listen to it over and over again. The one they dropped a couple weeks ago is about jerking off. Watch the music video if you don't believe me. Yeah, I've watched that one a few dozen times as well. What the fuck? Did you lay off the caffeine after 12 p.m.? Yes, I do not drink coffee and stuff like that after 12. Which reminds me, I gotta fucking take this now. We've only got 17 minutes left. It's actually fairly tasty. I've lost my fucking mind. Sigil. About jerking off being a sin. Suppose I should be specific since they're Euro homos. Yeah, no, I gathered that from the song. Both of them are homoerotic. I have a feeling that Ghost is gay and that he's lashing out at the Catholic Church more than anything else. Anyways, let's get to our sponsors before we get to the rest of the news. I'm having fun, as I do every single day, for the most part. Our sponsors, we have cultivated-mind.com. We can get delicious mushroom pills, and I take them every day. They seem to ward off viruses and bacteria and things like that, which is probably a good thing in this day and era. Just saying. Also give you a boost of energy, mixed with caffeine. Hell, you can't go wrong with that. Then we have BiltongUSA.com. Anton, who is over in chat on Rumble, can set you up with all sorts of good meats. You've got Wagyu, you've got Angus, you've got Cabanassi. We've also got Stick, Sex, and Hammer mugs and tumblers and shirts available. He can also set you up with Vegemite, Bovrite, Marmite. I wish I had known he had the Vegemite to begin with. Although the Bovrite, the South Africans definitely do it best. It is far superior to Marmite or Vegemite, just saying. And then finally, jamandbean.com. JAMNbean.com. Sniff it multiple times a day for more pleasure. Oh, that smells delicious. Excellent coffee, excellent tea, excellent everything. And just buy whatever you want off of their website and you'll probably be pleased with it. Is Cult, yes sir, you do your music after our stream, we'll raid you every Sunday. How do raids work, by the way, on Rumble? I don't know exactly how it works. If I did, I would definitely, I'd raid the Quartering and give him some extra support, but I don't know how to do it actually. Fireburn, why don't you open a real-life store in your town, Sticks? I have actually thought about getting into making hot pepper sauces, because that would be fun. But, I mean, the down payment that you would need is considerable, so I would need at least one fairly wealthy investor. And there's no guarantee that it actually works out. Sigil. Oh, Tobias Forge is for sure angry. His parents took him to church as a kid. He's the singer for Ghost, I know that. Read the interviews about his songs. He's a Redditor, guaranteed, and he butchered Jesus, he knows. Huh. Interesting. Oh, Bulldozer, you type /raid, then the URL. Huh. Oh, I didn't know that. I had no clue, honestly. Let's get to the rest of the news. China would lose a trade war with the US, gradually, then suddenly. This is an article that I definitely agree with. China's trade war bluff may backfire as the US pushes allies to choose between a rogue economic actor and a flawed but fairer partner with unmatched global power. Now, I don't agree 100% with the basic premise, but I do agree with the end result of a tariff war. The problem is that China is disproportionate with regards to the US economy. That is, the US is buying a shit ton of stuff from China. If we build a more robust domestic economy, so we're making more of our own things, they may cost marginally more, but wages will rise as well. What you're going to end up with is a better working and middle class. The poor can be subsidized because you're making more money anyway. And the rich, well, they're rich anyway. They don't give a shit. You end up with a stronger economy. China, meanwhile, has a big fucking problem. They have roughly 2 to 3 million people, 100 million people rather, in their core middle class. They have become consumerists. If China loses access to Western markets because we're absorbing everything interiorly anyway, If they lose access to that, and we pressure other countries in the West to not sell to China, and we're buying their shit instead, and people like German automobiles and stuff like that, and everyone wants a French chef and a German mechanic. Let's put it that way. If China is locked out of the Western market, so we go back to the pre-1974, I believe it was, period, China will collapse. Because several hundred million people who are used to a decadent middle-class lifestyle all of a sudden will have to buy cheap shit. They will not be very happy about this. That is a large, large number of people. China would effectively economically collapse. The people would no longer be willing to work. They might actually revolt. And so I do agree with the basic premise of the article, although I would say that the nominal feature that's being presented as why China would have a problem, I do not agree with that. I believe that China will be crushed in this trade war, which is something that I don't want for the average Chinese person. I have no problem with them. I don't care if you're a dedicated communist, because you don't really have a choice if you're in China anyway. I don't have a problem with people who happen to be Chinese. What I have a problem with is the Chinese government and its constant bullying. And by the way, it's very, very interesting when people in the West, let me point something out. When people in the United States or in Europe talk about China, they'll say, well, you're a xenophobe and you just hate them for their ethnic background or something like that. Most of the people that they are bullying are other Asians, the Japanese, the Taiwanese, the Vietnamese, Filipinos, Indonesians, people like that, Indians, people in Asia. They're not bullying me. They've done nothing to the United States because they can't. They're not bullying any of the Western hemispheric nations. They're bullying their fellow Asians. So how is it racist to point this out and say, enough is enough? We've got allies within the region. We're going to defend them. I like the Japanese. I like Filipinos. I like the Taiwanese. I like Koreans. I like the fucking Chinese. I have no problem with any of these people. But when one nation within a region disproportionately is the one constantly bullying its neighbors, it's a little bit lopsided. China has invaded Vietnam twice. We look at our own Vietnam War, which shouldn't have happened, I do agree, and say it's a great shame for our nation. And in some ways, it definitely was. Look at the My Lai massacre, for example, if you need a reason. The Chinese invaded them twice. The United States' own sin was recognizing Pol Pot of Cambodia as legitimate leader, just after he got invaded by the Vietnamese because we had just left Vietnam because we got our asses kicked. Then the Chinese got their asses kicked twice thereafter. Very, very strange. It's very, very strange how little people know about history. They think that the history of the world is the United States invaded everyone. They never look at all of these other countries and all of their other wars and invasions now, do they? Unless you go back to the antiquity period or something like that. Wasted. I'm so ready for the CCP to lose the mandate of heaven. Fuck the communists. Sigil. Jesus He Knows Me is originally by Genesis. Excellent song, by the way. Original is better, much so, and is about televangelist. Ghost changed one word and changed the entire meaning of the song to attack Christianity. I like both versions. I could listen to them all fucking day. BW. I'm keeping the faith in Trump. I just wish he could hurry up and get China to fold and get these prices down, dodge checks so maybe we can keep the House in the midterms. Maybe he should have waited until after. He doesn't have time to wait. That's the problem. The whole problem is he can't wait. It's impossible. Muddy Drip. Thoughts on Carmelo Anthony stabbing? Oh, you mean the Slenderman stabbing. Yeah, I know she's being released on conditional bail, I believe, as of today, really. I weighed in on that this morning and said I don't think that she should have ever gone to jail. She's clearly mentally ill. It should definitely be conditional. There should be nonstop monitoring. But putting a 12-year-old in a jail with adults, I'm not really generally a fan of that. I'm not really a fan. I don't think it's right. So, yes, I do believe that China would lose a trade war with the United States. The problem with the article is not the presumptive outcome. I agree with that. It's the presumptive reason for the outcome. So, conditionally agree with it. Good manner, hard to find. Reminds me of a Tom Petty song. By the way, Tom Petty, one of the gods of music, we will salute him. This is a Tom Petty channel. The Luigi Mangione phenomenon is disgusting. He has many thousands of fans, most of them young women. By the way, this reminds me of somebody else. Who was it? Oh, Zarnaev. Yeah, because he was on the cover of Rolling Stone and Time magazine. Bombs a bunch of people, slaughters them, but he happened to be reasonably attractive, and so a bunch of people started sending him letters. Some women are fucking psycho. Some men are too. There are men that will go after female serial killers as well. Some women are fucking psychotic. Just gonna say. And we're gonna put the writing on the wall. Zarnaev, Ramirez, and now Luigi Mangione, of course. If you are reasonably young and reasonably attractive, apparently women will just fucking throw their panties at you if you act out. And so, unfortunately, Taylor Lorenz, yes, our old friend who we have talked about before, and who every other fucking commentator has commentated on, Taylor Lorenz appears to be a fan of Luigi Mangione. I guess she wants his dick. Taylor Lorenz heaped praise on accused United Healthcare CEO assassin Luigi Mangione and slammed the media for criticizing the legion of unhinged youths who consider him a hero or role model. That's because she wants his dick. It's hilarious to see these millionaire media pundits on TV clutching their pearls about someone stanning a murderer when this is the United States of America. As if we don't lionize criminals. The influencer, limited influence at this point, and former reporter for the New York Times and Washington Post told CNN in a bubbly interview. Yes, indeed, we do lionize criminals, admittedly. That is correct. Most of the time, we try to lionize criminals who actually were only deemed criminal because they were acting out against a sick system. For example, Bonnie and Clyde or something like that. Bonnie and Clyde, all they did was sell liquor. Well, it shouldn't have been outlawed in the first place. There have been criminals before that have burned banks to the ground in order to eliminate people's debt. There have been examples where criminals are simply supplying something to the population that the government doesn't want them to have. Go ahead and lionize them. Perfectly fine. When you get somebody like Luigi Mangione, however, they should not be lionized. And the girls that are, basically wetting themselves over this individual, or Zarnaev, and certain others, Ramirez, these people did terrible, despicable things. They were not done out of a sense of activism. They were not done out of a sense of trying to help other people, and simply were criminal in nature in the way that they were helping them. They were done out of pure malice. They were done out of madness. Lionizing these individuals makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to me. I mean, that's just my opinion, but fuck Luigi Mangione. Standing for Luigi Mangione. Yeah, I know. It's so cringe. And Taylor Lorenz, she's probably masturbating at the moment, like looking at his picture or some shit like that. Muddy Drip, wrong stabbing. This one was a black kid stabbing a white kid at a Texas track meet, claiming self-defense. Well, it's possible. I'd have to look into the story. Sometimes people defend themselves. Wasted. I would note serial killers almost always get fangirls. It is what it is. Yes, but I mean, there's a difference though. And I mean, again, this is just my opinion. If somebody has acted out in violence in the name of some sort of cause, or it is effectively justified, they're fighting against what they perceive of as a sick system, I can understand them getting, fangirl mail and stuff like that. When they're simply acting out in malice and don't know what the hell they're talking about and are clearly beyond mentally disturbed, I don't understand it. I can't. Ooh, book. ICE has an online report form. Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde were pretty cool. There's a reason why the government shot them down. I respect Bonnie and Clyde. Wasted. Well, peace out, Clank Wizard. Afraid I've got some bone duty. He's gonna go fuck. Have fun fucking. Haha, Moskvich. Only Hunter Biden can do meth, have illegal weapons, have sex with whores, and still look like a loser. It is kind of ironic. Imagine that you're living the party boy lifestyle to the tune of millions of dollars. You can literally make 100 grand tomorrow just by talking to some business executive. Still a fucking loser. I have to say that I find that amusing, yeah. Sertorius. Hunter Biden was expelled from his $10,000 per month sex club. Not incredibly, yeah, it's not really a surprise to me. Hunter Biden is like the preliminary loser of all time. He has managed to go from hero to zero in only a few short years. You had everything. You're making shit tons of money. Your dad's the goddamn president of the United States, former VP, but you still managed to fuck things up. And for some reason, your dad, probably because of dementia, is relying upon you to take care of the business deals. That was a great idea, and that didn't backfire at all. Ugh, Sprite water. And I don't want to get dehydrated, but at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of Sprite, honestly. Masnerflux. Ahoy there, skipper. We be sailing the Indies with booty, arr. Every cap'n needs an ornate jewel-encrusted codpiece which shines majestically in the golden Pacific sun, while orders and philosophical insights are barked. Yeah, well, if you want to get me an ornate codpiece, I would be most willing to accept it. Right now, I think I look pretty piratical. I mean, I love the plague shirt. This is from the Golden One store, actually. It's one of my favorite shirts. Yeah, I think I'll wear it to court. I think that'll go over very well. This is basically how I'm going to look when I walk into the courtroom, by the way. I'll have to take my hat off and possibly my glasses, but otherwise, I don't need to do jack shit. Sigil. Carmelo Anthony didn't act in self-defense. How do we know? Because he took a knife to a fucking school track meet. Basketball's really stab happy lately. I wear a knife on me and usually the ball and chain, the flail, on a regular basis. This does not mean I intend to attack another person. The fact that you are armed does not mean that you are being aggressive. It means that you are more able to defend yourself. So I'll have to look into the case. BW, I'm hearing that China companies are shutting down. Yeah, no, it's not a surprise. Because of the tariff war, a lot of Western investors are removing themselves from China. This is the whole point. The fact is that the Chinese economy is propped up by the West. The Chinese economy, its structural strength is ensured by the West. In the West, the structural strength is diminished by Chinese influence. This gives us disproportionate control over the Chinese economy. This is the reason why I've predicted for years now, around this time, which is not coincidental, that China will collapse. India will become the predominant Asian power. Bulldozer, I'll look into that. Yeah, let me, Carmelo Anthony. Let me look up the case. Jury's out at the moment. Carmelo Anthony's bond reduced, granted house arrest. You know, usually if somebody kills another person, they're not granted house arrest. His bond was reduced from $1 million to $250,000, and he has to wear an ankle monitor and stay inside his parents' home, assuming that they can post a bond. I'm gonna have to look into the case. No, go away, video. I don't want to see you. He complied with officers of the scene and was taken into custody. Generally speaking, if somebody is compliant, that's a good sign. Anthony was an A student, the captain of both football and track teams. I will put an aside here. I'm going to assume innocence until proven guilty, because I'm not a shitfuck. But when you're an A student, when you're also a sports star, there's usually a correlation between those. What do we know about schools, people? If somebody is really, really good at football and basketball and everything else, and they're the captain of the team, they tend to get differential treatment now, don't they? So I will put that out. Prosecutors asked about a separate assault involving Anthony, which was handled internally by Frisco ISD. Defense attorneys argued that the $412,000 raised in the online account is not a bond fund, and that the family needs it to get by since Anthony's father is currently on leave from work. It sounds like his family is throwing him under the bus. Imagine what it must be like to be him. I personally don't believe that excessive bond and bail should be required. It's much too high in many cases. I've experienced this myself. Very strange. It sounds like they're basically trying to make money off of him. It sounds like he may actually have legitimately be defending himself, but the family is just using it as a grift fund. That's what it looks like. Like, that's my first take. That's really, really weird. Honestly, that's one of the weirder things that I've seen lately, and I've seen a lot. The CIA talking about extraterrestrials and shit. Andrew's Animatics. China has only 500 million people. Rabbit hole. I believe the population is more like 1 billion, actually. Could be wrong. Chris from Michigan. For sale, one ornate codpiece, slightly used. Yeah, it depends on the price. Depends on the size as well. I take a medium, generally. Alright, let's get to the last news story, by the way. We've talked enough about China. Denisovans inhabited Taiwan, new fossil evidence suggests. I believe that this is propaganda, and I'll tell you why. It's talking about Siberia and shit like that. A fossil jaw originally netted by fishermen off the ocean floor near Taiwan's west coast belonged to a member of a mysterious hominid population known as the Denisovans, scientists report in April 11 Science. Their new findings indicate the Denisovans, known from their ancient DNA and a handful of bones found at a couple of Asian sites spread over a larger area than previously thought. Here's what I think happened. The Denisovans did not get to Taiwan. The jawbone was likely harvested from a dead individual by other groups, or it washed offshore and it simply was carried to Taiwan. And I think I know why this is happening. It's not coincidental that Taiwan is being invoked here. The Denisovans were not human beings. They were hominids. The idea is that the Taiwanese, therefore, are effectively offshoots of these hominids. Little, dwarven midgets and shit like that. I think this is Chinese propaganda more than anything else. The fact that you found one jawbone offshore does not mean the Denisovans ever actually inhabited the island. Have you found any other remains in that region? No. But you found them far south in places like Indonesia, in Borneo, and so forth, Malaysia. Well, here's what happened. Somebody grabbed the jawbone, and they deposited it, and fishermen dug it up. It doesn't mean that the Denisovans ever got to Taiwan. I have a feeling that this study is deeply tainted by sociopolitics more than anything else. Call me a conspiracy theorist. Most often, conspiracy theories end up true. I have a feeling that this is nothing more than a planted story. Yeah, some people are saying, well, you can't bring a knife into school grounds. Well, you should have a right to bring a weapon wherever you want. I don't believe in anti-weapon laws. I don't believe that schools should be gun-free zones either. In fact, I want as many people in the school to be armed as possible. That way, if somebody acts out, there's 9 guns pointed at them for every gun they're pointing at other people. So I'm going to keep an open mind on this case because I've got no particular evidence that this individual wasn't attacked. The fact that he happened to have a weapon illegally doesn't necessitate that he attempted to murder another person or that he was the aggressor. Just because a person is armed doesn't mean that they're looking for trouble. I'm armed all the time. I've got a sword on my side right now. Another knife is over there. I've got a ball and chain in the other room, along with 4 other swords, and several other knives. I got all sorts of weapons around me. It doesn't mean that I'm trying to kill somebody, or that I'm trying to start trouble. It doesn't make me aggressive. King of Biltong, he started the fight. Do we have absolute evidence of that? If that were the case, if he started the fight and then he shanked the kid after the kid retaliated, of course, that would be murder. But I don't know the whole story. I didn't even know anything about it until today. Swamp Cleaner. Don't miss my last rant. Oh, sorry. Taylor Lorenz wants to be first in line for the conjugal visits. Sigil. Carmelo is underage and he was in the visiting school's tent. He got told to fuck off and shanked a white kid for daring say anything to his royal blackness. He even said, I ain't alleged, I did it. Oh, well, I mean, if he admitted that he did it and it wasn't in self-defense, if he just randomly shanked somebody, that sort of changes the storyline. I'm not surprised if the liberal legacy media wouldn't be reporting on that, by the way, due to the color of his skin. That being said, I still presume innocence until guilt is absolutely proven. It doesn't matter what color of skin a person has. It literally does not matter to me. There are plenty of people who have been falsely accused of crimes. I know this better than most. Just saying. So you'll excuse me if I don't necessarily trust the justice system. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Sprite. But I went to Wendy's, so, had to do something with it. Terry, the kid that stabbed the other kid, was instigating the fight by saying, "Touch me and see what happens." It was premeditated. He had his hand in his backpack on the knife. That doesn't necessarily tell the full story, though. I'm arguing devil's advocate here. I'm going lawyer mode. So I've got my lawyer hat on. I'm the piratical lawyer. Well, Your Honor, my client was being menaced by the other individual. He had his hand on his knife because he feared for his safety. He told him, "Touch me and see what happens," because he wished to ward him off and avoid conflict. And that's what happened. You see how easy that is? Now, I realize that this is probably ridiculous, but you could argue that in a court of law. You see the most crazy things said by lawyers. They're the most insane people in the goddamn world. They're even crazier than politicians. And half the politicians are lawyers. This is probably part of our problem. Sigil. Activists were floating a fake autopsy saying the victim was on drugs. The lies have gotten so bad the police are having to comment on it and debunk it. King of Biltong, yes, I understand what you're saying about going into the opposing team's tent and so forth. But it would be possible to successfully argue for his innocence on other bases. For example, he went into the opposing team's tent. Was he trespassing? No, he was on school property. Did he illegally have a weapon? Yes, absolutely. And of course, therefore, he should be punished for that. But should he get a murder charge? I argue no. I'm, again, arguing devil's advocate. He should not get a murder charge, Your Honor. Your Honor, he was attacked by another student. It does not matter that he illegally had a weapon. You can charge him with that. That's perfectly fine. But he killed the other person in self-defense. He was attacked by another individual. He attempted to ward them off. He attempted to prevent them from attacking him. He was unsuccessful in this endeavor. Yes, he had a weapon illegally on that property. That is an entirely separate charge from what has been levied by the state. Man, I would make a good lawyer. Just saying. If he told the other kid, "Leave me alone," effectively, it doesn't matter if he was trespassing in the other tent. That's not trespassing. He's allowed to go in there. He can be told to leave. He can be kicked out. But that doesn't mean that he deserves to be attacked. Wish I was his lawyer. He'd skate. Just saying. Money Drip, he was a student on the school grounds where no weapons are allowed. Don't know if you can claim self-defense, but yes, innocent until guilty. You can, actually. You can definitely get hit with an illegal weapons charge, although I don't believe that such a thing should even exist. That being said, if he acted in self-defense, if he told the other student, "Leave me alone," it doesn't matter if he's in the other team's tent. A teacher should have come up and told him to get lost and said, what are you doing here? This is the other, you're in the wrong tent, basically. It's not his responsibility. I'm just arguing devil's advocate. I don't want anyone to get stabbed. I don't want anyone to get killed. But there are legal arguments that you could presumptively make. Terry, if he feared for his safety, why didn't he just leave when he was asked to multiple times? Yes. But if you are asked to leave, does that allow another person to aggress you? Again, I'm just arguing devil's advocate. I understand he killed another person. I'm not arguing on his behalf in anything other than the rhetorical fashion at the moment. But I really, really love legalese. Slick Rick, Jeremy covered this story. Talk to him about it. Lunar Looter, apartheid works. Oh my god. Twisted X Gamer, yes, you are fundamentally correct. The necessity of retreat definitely takes place in such a scenario. I would say that it kind of depends on where he was in the tent, ironically. If I was his defense lawyer, my first line of defense would be, hey, he was attacked by this other individual. While he was not doing the right thing, that doesn't mean that somebody has the right to attack him. If he is attacked, he has the right to self-defense. My second line of defense would be, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, cornered, and incapable of retreating. He was physically incapable of doing so. As a result, he had no choice but to defend himself. Feeling that he would be outmatched, or that he would be outgunned, so to speak, he decided to withdraw a weapon, and so he defended himself. Now, we're arguing rhetorically here. This is not actually something that I would defend in a court of law. It seems, based on what I'm seeing with this case, that he was the aggressor, more or less. That being said, he should be charged. I'm just going from a very academic perspective. I hope you all realize I'm capable of completely detaching myself from anything in the world and analyzing it specifically from a legal perspective. It's one of my advantages and disadvantages in life. It looks to me, though, like he's going to skate, though, honestly. Our Terry is touching someone aggression. Can my grandma stab me in the heart when I hug her? It depends on the intent of the touching. If I tell you, don't fucking touch me, and you do so much as flick your finger on me, I will punch you in the face. Just the way that it is. And I'm perfectly justified in doing so. I have told you, do not touch me. You have just touched me. You are violating my rights. Just the way that it is. Glow in the dark chaos. Make me, touch me, punch me, not leave me alone. Yes, but you're insinuating that you want the other person to leave you alone. Sometimes within the law, it's not the literal interpretation that even matters. It's the figurative interpretation. So if I say, don't touch me, go away, the insinuation is, leave me alone. This would be what a normal, reasonable person, and this means a lot within English common law, so unless you're in Louisiana, this takes effect, a reasonable person would say, okay, this person does not want to be physically touched. They have explicitly suggested that I should not do that. Just leave me alone. Go away. I don't have to command you to not touch me in order for you to leave me alone. Sigil, actually, you'd be a terrible lawyer. We'd all be. court doesn't work like Better Call Saul. You better have your defense strategy approved by the judge, citing precedent, not crazy-ass statements. No, that's not the case. There are plenty of legal precedents that you can use. They're all there. But there's also an element of common sense within the law. For example, it is reasonable to assume that if I have told a person, do not touch me, leave me alone, that they should not touch me and they should leave me alone. It's just sort of the way that it works. By the way, god damn, it's almost 60 degrees. Holy shit. Ugh. I'm sweltering. Yes, not just a string, exactly. I'm role-playing a lawyer. It means being a little bit full of shit. For example, I won't say his name for legal reasons mainly. Have a lawyer who's a clanker, and he once told me that he would occasionally stand between, when he was prosecuting, he would stand between the defendant and their lawyer to block out the view of the person that was supporting them in order to menace them. And, of course, this is, maybe unethical, but, of course, he's being paid to do that. I respect him greatly. Great guy. I've met other people in the legal profession. There are all sorts of tips and tricks. There are all sorts of tricks of the trade that go on. It happens all the time. You need to understand that what is legal, what is ethical, and what is civically acceptable are often mutually exclusive. A lawyer is hired by a person to defend them. It does not matter if they are guilty. If they are hired to prosecute, they are prosecuting them even if they're not guilty. This is just a sad reality. In a perfect world, lawyers would look at the case, they would look at the evidence, and they would say, okay, I really can't defend you because you're clearly guilty. Or I'm absolutely going to defend you because clearly you're not guilty, and I'm going to talk to the prosecutor, and hopefully they fucking drop the case because there is no evidence. This would be a perfect world. Do we live in a perfect world? Not even close. That's just the sad reality. That's just the way that it is. Oh, I've got a few more please don't send any more super chats, by the way. Captain Lurker. It was raining, and not a student at the school invited by another student to be there. I don't know exactly what that means. Muddy drip. I love stirring the pot. Clank. I wish I was stirring the pot right now. I made an excellent soup the other day. Oh, every single one of you would eat this fucking soup. I made a special broth, and I have a secret. I'm going to tell you all how to make this secret broth. You take beef bouillon, and you put it in water. That's a basic bitch broth. What you need to do is add a splash of V8, and that's going to make it much better. This is after you saute off whatever vegetables you're using, and or meat. You add V8 to the broth. That's what you do. It makes it more tomatoey. It makes it more like a kind of a tomato basil, actually. Emperor Soft Turtle, handoff AstroTurf did not last long. Trump does tariffs to get exactly what he wants. Left. Trump blinked. Trump polls are down in polls that are historically inaccurate. The left have nothing. True. Terry, I don't ever want to hear a POC complaining about excessive escalation of force after this crap. Police are now 100% justified in unaliving whoever they want now. Disagreed. Having dealt with the police fairly recently, I can say I'm glad that the local police are generally kind. Just saying. Doesn't matter if you've committed any reasonable crime. King of Biltong. Almost forgot. Buy our Biltong. Almost 50% protein, packed with B12, creatine, iron, zinc, and much more. A perfect snack addition to your weekly meal prep. www.biltongusa.com. Code STICKS for 10% off. By the way, highly encouraged. Extremely tasty. Still got a couple of bags left. Not much, though. He can also hook you up with Bovrite. And trust me, you want to try Bovrite. Yeah, adding probably about a half of a can of V8 to a batch of soup, that's enough. That's about all you need. You don't want too much because you make it too salty. What I always do, speaking of V8, here's how I make veggie soup. I take the vegetables and I saute them off. Now, this is usually onion, celery, and carrot. And I'll also throw in red pepper. You pop that in along with a shit ton of butter. You deglaze it slightly, once you're sauteing it, with a little bit of your bouillon. And that's just water and basic bitch bouillon. You only need a splash of it. You don't need much. You deglaze it, and then you continue to cook it for a while. If you have beans, tomatoes, green beans, anything like that, you're going to put them in a little bit later. You continue cooking the main vegetables on a fairly high heat and stir them around. You'll have, spatula, whatever you have, and you stir them around. And by the way, there's another secret. I'm going to tell you the ultimate secret in soup making. Add tarragon when you are cooking the original vegetables. When you're sauteing, there is no better scent that you can possibly get than cooking onion in butter with tarragon. And you can add garlic. You don't have to. I generally do, but you don't need to. You add tarragon. So once you get those sauteing, once they start to, roast a little bit, carrots, celery, onion, peppers, then you add the bouillon. And all it is water with bouillon in it, basically. You can mix your own bouillon. There's 1,000 ways to do it. You add that in. Then you add a little bit of tomato and the V8 and so forth. You don't want to cook the tomatoes quite as long. If you put them in the saute mix, what happens is they get all weird. They get kind of like wiggly and stuff like that. They don't need as long to cook. So then you just bring it up to heat, and then you simmer it back down. And then you simmer it for, 2 or 3 hours sometimes if you want to. That's all you have to do. You can put dumplings in there, I suppose. Although I don't know how they'd go with a tomatoey sauce. But yeah, tarragon and V8, ironically. Yes, of course, to the people that are mentioning various herbs, of course you use herbs. But that's more to taste. Same with the salt. What I do is I start off with a bouillon broth that's fairly bland. It doesn't have a lot of salt in it. And the reason why I do that is I find that if you over salt it, it kind of ruins the soup. So I'll taste the broth, and then I'll gauge how much salt needs to be put in it. And then it takes maybe 1 or 2 tries, and then I put more salt in it. And I always use celery salt because it's delicious. And if you can get it just right, if you can get it just perfectly balanced, you will make one of the best soups of your life. It's delicious, actually. I bet Anton can make a mean fucking soup. We should have a Clanker soup contest. We'll meet up in some central location and bring pots of soup or something like that. Hmm. And it'll be a blind taste test too. We'll get like, I don't know, 100 random people together, and we'll just put the soups out there, and they each take a little cup, and then they drink it, and we'll see who wins. I think that I can hold my own. May not win, but I think I can hold my own. Anton probably wins, considering his culinary skills. Damn it, Anton. You're stealing my soup thunder. Mm, love making soup. I was thinking the other day, actually. I'm running well over schedule, but it doesn't really matter. I don't care. I've been thinking about how many soups that I can actually make. I think it's about 40 at this point. And then I thought, like, if I had an investor or something, it'd be fun to have like a food cart and plop it out in the downtown here in Rutland and have like a soup shack or something like that. All we sell is soup and bread, and then drinks, of course. You know, you get soda or whatever. That would be fun. Oh, Midwest Gunner, Irish lamb soup. Yeah. Sertorius, I don't have a postal address. If you message me on Twitter, I'll just give you my street address. You're a frequent commentator. I will trust you. Just DM me on Twitter. Yeah, I tend to trust the Clanker crowd. I don't think that anyone's gonna show up with duct tape and butcher knife or something like that. You're all invited to my house, especially the cute girls. Oh my. Go ahead and show up. Don't even ask for permission. Just fucking show up on the lawn. Just saying. And Doug. Oh my god, oh. No, based acid fox. I've got white powder to nail ya. Shit. Yeah, cute girls are invited 24/7. It does not matter if you asked for permission. Just fucking show up. Jesus H. Christ. Yeah, and then it would be funny because dudes would show up because of all the girls that have shown up. And there'd be like an orgy on the lawn or something. By the way, I am semi unserious about this. I don't actually want people to show up uninvited. But cute girls. Yeah, they're cute. Panic Skyfaller is. Oh, shit. Is the story about tariffs not actually being collected by customs real or propaganda? I believe that it is propaganda. R&R Steve, Manhattan or New England clam chowder? I do not like clam chowder. I love seafood chowder. If you want the best seafood chowder in the goddamn world, you need to go to Ray's, which is up in New Hampshire. It's phenomenal. I had it when I was a little kid, and it was so memorable that when I went back to Hampton Beach last year, I went back to Ray's. It tastes exactly the same. It is, I don't even have words to describe it. I don't know how the hell they make it, but it's phenomenal. It's also not particularly expensive. I'm not a huge fan of clams, though. I like scallops. I definitely like shrimp. I love all sorts of seafood. Clams and mussels and stuff like that, I've never been really interested in, though. Sigil. There are no girls on the internet. There are plenty of clanker girls. We call them clankettes. Mm. Derek, I fucking love you. Imagine being Styx's elderly parents, having to put up with your black magic wielding son hitting on and bringing out girls half his age to the house all the time. Girls who are fairly mentally disturbed. Uh, you're now one of my favorite commentators, actually. Yeah, I can do this all day. I don't have anything else to do, actually. I might as well just do Bants. We can go to some other news if you want to. Yeah, Devil Dog, you're wrong about Morgan Geyser. Lol. Yeah, here's the problem. I just don't believe in putting 12-year-olds in prison. It has nothing to do with the actual crime, although the victim was not actually killed. It's just I don't really believe in putting a 12-year-old in prison. You're going through that age where you're all hormonal and weird shit like that. We all know what it's like. Let's face it. Let's be real. You know what it's like. And so sometimes you get overly aggressive. I've got a relative, for example. I'm not going to name them. And she, just a few years ago, just wanted to snuggle the kitty. Now she wants to punch me in the face. Well, it's hormones. It just happens, you know. Derek, the cringe, the absolute pure cringe. Why are people talking about mines? I have no idea what's going on. Yes, Recon, she was basically like a medical prison, though. She should never have been there, though. You know, it's kind of funny. The government is always trying to do outpatient stuff, but then in 1 in a million cases, it just locks somebody up in the funny farm. Very, very strange. Robin Hood, I love that song, by the way. I know the song that you're referencing. Minecraft kids. Yeah, it's funny. The Minecraft movie gets like kind of, yeah, mediocre reviews. But then there are kids bringing chickens into the goddamn movie theater and stuff like that. I find this hilarious. I almost want to go and see the movie just hoping that some like 10-year-old kid is going to bring a couple of chickens in there. That would be hilarious. Imagine how fun that would be. Like, I've been playing Minecraft since before you were born. You can do the elderly thing. That would be fun. Think, when did I start playing it, actually? I think it was 2008. I'm old as fuck. Well, shit. Hooter Jensen, Sticks, are you ever gonna move out of your parents' house? It's my house. I like living with my parents. I can travel wherever I want. I can do whatever I want. There are no rules. In my world, there are no limits or laws. If you get that reference, you'll understand. Yeah, man, I need to buy a couple of chickens and go see the Minecraft movie. It'll be like Rocky Horror. You know how people like throw toast at the screen and weird shit like that? Man, that would be so great. Based Acid Fox, you are definitely based. Yeah, I want to go to a Rocky Horror Picture Show at midnight. That's one thing that I want to do before I die. That's on my bucket list. Can you imagine how funny it would be? I can do the time warp. No, I'm not going to do it now, but, you know, I'll get a couple of clankers together down in New Orleans. Be fun. Let me see this. I'm wondering. Is there a Rocky Horror show? Please tell me there's a Rocky Horror Picture Show viewing. Oh, god damn, that would be so fucking fun. Aha, the Broad Theater. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Genre, comedy. Duration, 100 minutes. I don't give a fuck about your updates. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. That would be hysterical. Yeah, I was thinking, do the time warp. I can certainly bring toast and toilet paper and all of the other accoutrements. That would be so fun. Fireburn, Sticks, you're not going to die anytime soon. I'm sorry, but don't get yourself worked up. I've had more fun in my lifetime than a person should be allowed to have. Just saying. Ha! Andy. This is a hilarious cringe arc for Sticks that I think any intelligent person could have seen coming. I've sold 500,000 copies of my books. What have you accomplished? Go fuck yourself. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage. Marilyn Manson is playing the Fillmore in New Orleans on May 21st. Oh shit. Jesus H. Christ. God damn it. Alright, let me get a ticket. I know he doesn't do a 100% live show, but he's really improved. Damn. Do you want to know something hilarious? That's one day before my court date. I'm going to be buying a ticket to that. Thank you so much. Derek, okay, all Kino trolling besides the Minecraft movie isn't as bad as Nerdrotic and Drinker are claiming. It's still a dumb movie. It's dumb fun, though. Not something to take seriously. Yeah, it's kind of like a kid's movie, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really seen it. I guess I might. It's sort of like seeing the new Snow White. The new Snow White apparently is fucking terrible. Or at least sub-mediocre. I'd like to see it, though, because it'd be hilarious to just laugh at it. Yeah, Andy, I don't give a fuck. I just don't care. I'm going long today, for want of anything else to do. Quite in 7 trannies. Oh, Jesus. Carson. California Republican congressman announced over a dozen investigations into my home state of California. I hope something comes of it. Example. In 2020, California legislature tried to remove 1964 Civil Rights Act. That's odd. Why would that happen in California? 26 Romeo. You don't have a job. What else do you have to do? Retard. Yeah, no, I've only sold 500,000 books, and I have almost 500 million views just on YouTube alone. I haven't accomplished anything. See, this is why when people criticize me, I just chuckle. Fucking hilarious. Cooking Inferno. You don't ever tell us what you actually care about, Sticks. Well, let's see. My family, my friends, cooking yummy food, which is ironic given your name, pussy, gardening, all sorts of stuff. Aw, 2-6 Romeo is sad. You cry, little bitch boy. Hmm. You're lucky that I don't believe in banning people. Uh, Lunar eclipse. Sticks, will Trump ever hold Bibi accountable? Israel violated ceasefire. Trump could win so many folks over by allowing ICC to arrest Bibi and others. There are basically two things that you can do. The first one is to continue to generally support Israel and just tell them to knock it off. Keep them as a landing strip, so to speak. The second, and this would be hysterical, and I hope that Trump does it, invite Bibi Netanyahu to the United States and then arrest him and then send him to Den Haag. But this is probably not going to happen. That's what I would do. I would say, hey, come over for some McDonald's and shit. But then I would have him summarily arrested. I would make sure that his security staff were completely disarmed. I would invite him into the White House, and then I would ship him off to Den Haag. It would be so funny. Can you imagine what would happen, by the way, socio-politically? It would completely upend Israeli politics. It would be the death of the Republican Party, which is probably for the best because they don't know what the fuck they're doing anyway. Sigil, you should have come to Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago to watch Rocky Horror on the 40-foot tall screen. Damn, I wish I could. Andy, leaving your wife and child to live in your parents' house while crashing out live on YouTube is real productive. Interesting. I've made $200 in the last hour. Again, what have you accomplished? Loser! Sometimes I like engaging with these people. I find it amusing. Oh, Rumble had a problem? Here, let me check. Huh. Nan and Faye. I'm really over all you silly people. Watch and shut up or leave. You say you hate sticks, and yet you drive the algorithm. Retards. Yes, they are. Absolutely, they are. Sam J. Here's some more Benjis. They hate you because they ain't you. Well, it's not that I'm grifting for money or anything. All I'm doing is what I've been doing for 15 years, basically. I do appreciate it when people give me money, of course. I'm not going to say no to it. But when people complain, that's okay. I believe in their freedom of speech. Unless they're, spamming, the heckler's veto or something like that, I'm not going to ban them. I don't give a shit what you say on my channel. You can say the N-word over and over again. You might get banned, but it's not going to be by me. Retards dress like pirates in their childhood bedroom. This is not my childhood bedroom, believe it or not. This is my office. My room here is wonderful. I've got piracy all around me. Why the hell would I want anything different? 2-6 Romeo, go ride a bike. Oh, wait. On a serious note, I used to listen to you all the time, but in the past 7 months or so, you've turned yourself into a lol cow, and let's be honest, Andy did not betray you. He seems to have, but I mean, he has his own opinions. Still respect the dude. I still like his content creation. It's just his, co-pilot there is with me. I don't even know why. I had never even talked to the dude. I didn't even know he existed. All of a sudden, he just lights into me. I'm like, whoa, whoa, what the fuck is happening? I didn't understand it at all. Sigil, 200 off 1,000 viewers? I gotta start live streaming. Yeah, it's pretty lucrative. People donate like $5 or something like that. Bog, Edwards be stealing yo shit. I have no clue what that refers to. Yeah, it's funny thing. Jesus. I'm trying to get to the top of chat here. Some people think that I'm constantly inebriated. I think that they think that I'm on drugs or something like that. Believe it or not, I'm not. I only got 3 hours of sleep last night. I am a chronic insomniac. So if I act like I'm inebriated, that's probably the reason. Unfortunately, it's very difficult for me to sleep. I lay there for hours and can't get to sleep. It's very difficult for me. All the stress that I'm under is not helping. So, there's that. I know it's not really an excuse, of course. I'm trying to give you a pleasurable experience. Infotainment, you can get the news, you can get entertainment at the same time. And I work like a dog to try to help people. I really, really do. I really care about other people. But that being said, I'm running myself into the ground. So, there's that. But it's not because I'm using drugs. It's because I lack sleep. In fact, I don't even know that I get 3 hours of sleep last night. Might have been 2.5. I was watching Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price, actually. And fell asleep to that, basically. Nooner Eclipse. Sticks, by the way, did you critique Trump's gaffe saying Ukraine started the war? He misspoke, which gave his haters ammo, like at Helsinki Putin summit. No, I was not aware of this, actually. To be clear, Jeremy did not fire me. Jeremy has effectively cut loose all of his co-hosts because of an inability to pay them, which is perfectly fine. I'll survive. I'll be fine. I respect him greatly. He had my back in my darkest hour. I'm going to have his back. If he wants me on the show, I'll go on for free. But he believes in paying everyone for their appearances, and he has other business obligations. The Flaxen Saxon take. Sleeping on a couch or a recliner with the footrest up was better than the best sleep I ever got on a mattress. Huh. DK Liberty, Sticks getting swatted, lol. No. 2-6 Romeo, you're not worth paying, you drunk retard. Hooter Jensen. Again, I like Jeremy very much. He helped me out when nobody else was able to help me out. Nobody else had the means or the reason to do so. So I will never turn on him. The quarterings, my bro. I wouldn't even care if he came out outright and fucking fired me and said, Fucking get lost, you loser. I'd still have his back if he needed me to do so. I owe him a favor. That's the way that it works. Two six Romeo, so many books sold, can't bail your... Thank you for being literate, by the way. It's very difficult to bail yourself out, because you happen to be in jail. Accessing your bank account, therefore, is relatively limited. Somebody else on the outside needs to do it for you. But you wouldn't know that now, would you? Command your mommy. I'm sure that the Kino folks will be very happy about this. That's fine. Ugh. Watered down Sprite is fucking terrible. Ugh. It's disgusting. Mommy, bail me out and bring me tendies. I could use some chicken tenders, as long as it's with honey mustard and ketchup mixed together. I need a cup of coffee, some chicken tendies, some ketchup and honey mustard. I need it now. Yeah, I think that Romeo is projecting. You're hoping that I'm drunk or something like that. Or on drugs. Cocaine, crack, heroin, anything under the sun. When in reality, you're probably goddamn inebriated right now. That's the way that it works with people. Opinionated junkie. PB should worry about his weight. Yeah, I mean, Simply Sarah. Oh, by the way, I want to deliver a eulogy. And this is something that I genuinely want to do. I want to deliver a eulogy for Simply Sarah. She's a fellow content creator. And, well, she never did a good job of managing her weight. She was talented. Unfortunately, I got word 2 days ago that she has, in fact, died. She is dead. It does not surprise me. It was something that was jarring to myself and to my wife, actually. I told her about it. She had been sending me Simply Sarah videos for an extended period of time. We had watched her for years. She was probably about 400 pounds. But I would rather remember her for the times that she made food that were actually yummy. And she was talented in the cooking department. Some of the foods were more like, hell, what are you doing? Some of the foods, though, were like, oh, that looks pretty fucking good. I would love to have a bowl of that. And so I would like to remember her for that. Simply Sarah, unfortunately, has died. And I presume that it had something to do with her weight. That's my presumption. I'm not sure. It could have had to do with diabetes. I know that she had that. It could have had to do with some other health complication. But I'm having a feeling it probably had to do with the fact that she was 400 pounds. Nonetheless, I will always remember her for that one fateful video. And I can't remember the title of it. She was making some sort of sandwich. And her cat comes into the background. And all of a sudden it comes up onto the counter. And it has a really intent look. And it grabs a slice of salami and then just runs off. And she just looks at the cat like, what the fuck? I thought that was very, very funny. Yeah. So that's a little bit of a eulogy for Simply Sarah. And again, unfortunately, it appears that she has died. I got word 2 days ago. It's rather sad. That means I'm never gonna another video of simply Sarah eating crazy shit. I'm gonna lapse into my Ozzy Osbourne accent. Give me a moment. I'm gonna go long today. I'll be right back. All right, everyone, I am back, and I'm very, very thankful because it appears that Anton's shipment has come through. So that means we're gonna open it on live stream. I haven't really done this before, actually. Let's see what Anton has sent. That's what I'm talking about. Talk about a red letter day. Eat at Anton's, where we make real food live on Friday and Sunday, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Trust me, he does it best. All right, let's see what he has sent. You use these, by the way, to cure the biltong. You can put it in the bag and so forth. Rooibos tea. Energize and relax. Use one in the morning, use one in the evening, and it just works. It's pretty great. What kind of meat are you sending me this time? Ha 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 ha. We've got Angus and US Wagyu. That's what I'm talking about. We'll eat some right now. Oh, yeah. You're not gonna last long, my friend. Meat and tea. Don't really need anything else. Well, berries, of course. Yeah, the Wagyu is really, really good. It's all buttery. And if you put it in a ramen soup, you can take just like a half a handful and look for it in there. It's delicious. Based acid fox. Have a spot of tea, mate. Yeah, go to biltongusa.com. I've got all 3 sponsors listed in the description. I'm just sort of mouthing off at this point. Normally you put it in the bag, and I guess that's sort of the traditional way to eat it. I just eat it straight out of the bag. Yeah. Okay. That's really good. Anton. You crazy dude. How is it that everything you produce is so tasty? Cygnus. Fucking cringe. 2-6 Romeo. Normally you don't sit around your mom's house at 40 drinking all day. First off, I'm not drinking. Secondly, I'm not 40. Thirdly, I pay the property taxes here. So I think that I'm entitled to inhabit the property. Radicalized online, do the Aussie voice again. Okay, this is Ozzy Osbourne. I, just took 10 pounds of drugs. I was hanging out with Motley Crue, Lemmy, and, Tom Petty, and, it's 1985, of course. But yeah, we start to get to bantering. What kind of drugs do you use? And some of them said, they said weed or cocaine and things like that. And I'm like, I'll one-up you. I'm gonna take a bunch of bees and I'm gonna fucking snort them. And they said, you know, you're full of shit. So I take a bunch of bees and I cut off their heads and then I roasted them in the oven and crushed them up into powder and fucking snorted them. And then I took some more bees, yellow jackets, and I did the same thing to them. And this time I fucking stuffed them up my ass. And then I made an infusion out of bumblebees. And it was a great time, let me tell you. I took it and filtrated it. And then I put it in a syringe. And I injected it directly into my arm. And boy, oh boy, it burned. But, the members of Motley Crue, they're all coked out. They can't believe what they're fucking seeing. And then Ronnie was there, Lemmy was there, Teddy was there. They don't believe what they're seeing either. They just go over and they say, you're insane, basically. I was just using piles of drugs. I figured it was fun. And then I told them, uh, uh, because I shot up the bumblebee serum, you owe me a few lines of coke. So I used the coke. And then I went insane. I had no clue what was even fucking going on. I lost all my memory. I don't even know what happened thereafter. 2-6 Romeo, less shitty impressions. Go take care of your kids, stinky retard. I know who you are, by the way. Go get yours. Sigil, rock the Sharon. Sharon! Yeah, it's an acquired taste. Some people think that I'm hilarious and cool because I dress like a pirate and do an Ozzy Osbourne impression and so forth. Some people don't like me for exactly the same reason, and it means absolutely nothing to me. Radicalized online. I have already doxed myself. I did that more than 10 years ago. Sharon, bring me the pollinators. Get these cats away from me. What the hell is going on? Stokon, this is freaking amazing. Yeah, it's funny. Things become rather bipolar. If you act out, if you are unique, you're considered insane. If you don't, if you wear a suit and shit like that, you're considered lame. I think that people should simply be individuals. They should do what they want to do. And they shouldn't be, victimized or anything like that for it. They shouldn't have to defend themselves in any decision that they make unless it harms other people. If I want to dress as a pirate, and trust me, I do, then I think I should be able to do that. Hooter Jensen. You are right. I definitely need to do that. I do agree. That's one thing that I do need to do. I mean, my microphone and my camera aren't bad. It's just, yeah, they're not great either. They're sort of medium, I suppose. But all you have to do is be yourself. God, sometimes I feel like fucking Mr. Rogers. Do you want to be my neighbor? All you have to do is be yourself. A little bit weird sometimes. Styx line of cologne. No, because I really, really love vintage colognes. I want to show off the entire collection sometime. People might, actually. Hmm. Yeah, that's a good video idea. Thank you very much for that, actually. I've got like, I think 50 bottles or something like that. Spanning from the mid 70s all the way through the mid 90s, actually, or early 2000s. I should suppose I should make a video on this subject. I already made one on the subject of these wall hangs. I can't document them all. It's impossible for me to do so. I've got too many of them. I think there's about 60. Interesting. John Berger, bragging about how much money you make streaming, yet you have basic bitch setup. Whatever. Chertoff Sittler. I don't think Styx would surrender his grandpa's H&R 22 top break without a fight, so I'm forced to assume Styx has unregistered firearms with his parents. Well then, call the authorities. Let them search the property. I turned everything in. I had no choice, unfortunately. I couldn't even keep my, they took my, G17 outright. I had to turn in my AR. I had to turn in the 22. I had to turn in the 480. While I shouldn't have had to do so, I didn't have a choice. I wasn't given one. It's unconstitutional and completely wrong, but I had no choice. I'm allowed to have a pellet gun. I'm allowed to have a bow. Theoretically, I could buy a goddamn flamethrower and there's nothing that they can do about it. But somehow, I'm not allowed to have a fucking 22. It makes a whole lot of sense to me. So yeah, I conform to the law. To the absolute letter. I did what I had to do. Sigil, you're also allowed to buy a mortar and shells. Yeah, explosives, as long as you register them, it's perfectly fine. Flamethrower, perfectly fine. You can buy an air gun that will drop an elk. That's perfectly fine too. But if you had a 22 snub, all of a sudden it becomes illegal. Gun law in the United States makes absolutely no sense. Anyways, I'm just mouthing off at this point. Let's see. He should worry about his weight. Sigil, rock the Sharon. Oh, I already read that. Well, you got a freebie. Here, just a second. Yes, by the way, it's not 480, it's 420, I believe. I think I'm going to go to that Marilyn Manson concert. Says, we just had an earthquake in San Diego. It was weird. Never felt one that short before. Hopefully a bigger one isn't coming. If it is a foreshock, you may want to get to higher ground. Just saying. Early bird. Sticks, when he coming back to Nowlands? In about a week, actually. Well, a little bit less than that. Probably about 6 days or something like that. I have to face the dreadful judge. Thankfully, I've got a pretty cut and dry case. I've already conferred with my lawyer, and while I can't give any significant elements of my case, I've been assured that the likelihood is that, at the worst, I get a slap on the wrist plea deal. At best, everything is dropped entirely. Yeah, you wasted $30,000 defending a case that never should have been brought in the first place. How wonderful. That's probably what's going to happen. I'm going to laugh incessantly about that. Then I'm going to go down Bourbon Street and just raise hell. There's nothing else to do. Be fucking hilarious. Cooking Inferno. Will you get your guns back? No, my G17 is permanently gone. The other guns were sold. I don't have any of them anymore. I mean, gave me a bit of money, I suppose, but they don't exist anymore. I had no choice. It makes me very sad. Not gonna lie. 6.3? Mesner Flux. If editing is your cup of tea, the green screen, you could key in random exotic and otherworldly locales as the backdrop for special streams. Nothing wrong with current artifacts, just a thought if you're bored. That could work. Yes, but until these cases are over and expunged, I can't own firearms. I can own a ball and chain or a flamethrower, but I can't own guns. Makes a lot of sense. Victor, yes, I will talk about the case when it is over, but not until then. Only an idiot would talk about their legal case before then. Doesn't matter if you're innocent. It means absolutely nothing. The state can hang you on your own words. They can use it as effectively a noose to destroy you. So, you don't say anything at all. You only say something to your lawyer, or if you have to, before the court. Only then should you speak at all. It's okay to say, hey, I didn't commit any crime. But anything beyond that, you shouldn't be goddamn speaking at all. Be silent. Shut the fuck up. That's my advice. It's horrible that we live in a system in which legal advice boils down to shut the fuck up. It shouldn't, but it does. Cooking Inferno, you're welcome, New Hampshire, to help sight in my AR-10. I can't do that right now. I have to wait. Yeah, if you're accused of any crime, if the police are talking to you, don't fucking say anything. If a prosecutor's talking to you, don't say any fucking thing. If a judge is talking to you, unless legally compelled, don't say any fucking thing. Don't say any fucking thing to anyone. It's the last thing that you want to do. You know, hang yourself legally. You might be completely innocent. And you're like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. And all of a sudden, you get charged with 5 or 6 different crimes. Ah, shit. Now you have to defend yourself. Paying $20,000, $30,000 in the process. This is what I've experienced. And this is without talking. I can't even imagine how bad it is for people who do. You try to defend yourself. Don't bother. If you're being talked to by police, prosecutors, judge, attorney, district attorney, or ADA, or whatever it happens to be, you are already presumed guilty. Don't say a thing. Say, I want an attorney, and I'm not going to talk to you. Then you have to deal with the fact, this is why you should have your phone numbers in your wallet, because you can bring that into a jail. Then you have to deal with the fact that you're going to have to bond. You're going to have to post bail. Well, they don't really give a shit about your rights when you go to jail. They assume your guilt. What you need to do is have a piece of paper, because most of you, like myself, don't remember the phone numbers of the people around you. Write a couple of them down and bring them with you. Everywhere that you go, put them in your wallet. You can't bring your wallet into the jail, but you can bring the piece of paper. Make sure, because they will have collect calling available, make sure that there is always somebody on the outside that understands that you might go to jail, under whatever circumstances they happen to be. And tell them ahead of time, if you get a collect call from this particular number, you need to pick up. You need to pay the collect call, because it means that I need help. That is what you need to do. I mean, the legal system is completely screwed up. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I never understood this when I was younger. I thought that it was mainly people that did miserable and terrible things. They got, incarcerated. Then I realized, hey, some of these people on the inside, they're better than some people on the outside. What the hell is even going on? That's basically what happened. Yeah, I know. The Kinoists are over there. They're having a good time. Anyways, I'm gonna end the stream. Victor, oh, I got a Styx beanie. I wear it everywhere. Excellent. Well, that's pretty cool, my friend. Anyways, I'm going to end the stream. I've got to docket more news and so forth. And I've got some other stuff that I've got to get to. I got to go to the... oh, wait. King of Biltong. Try Carmion's range of functional red teas, infused with functional ingredients to help you through your day. Available on BiltongUSA.com. 10% off for Styx listeners only. Use code STYX. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I'm going to be drinking both of these probably later. This one's to energize and this one's to relax. So it won't last very long, but I've got a call coming in. I've got to take it. Cherdolf Sittler, and I hope you were smart enough to stash some away. I'm sure you did. I have no clue what I was supposed to stash. I've got like $5,000 worth of silver. I'm all fine. Don't worry about me. I'll take care of all of you. That's about all.